So anyway, you want to describe what we did towards the end, in groups of 3?
With the feet?
Yeah.
We looked at each other's feet and we talked about what we thought we could see in the feet. So we tried to basically build stories about what we saw in the feet.
Never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So I'm a doctor of osteopathy, which, do you know what that is?
No.
I work with the cranial bones.
Their head, the brain.
The bone, the cranium.
Oh.
And the bones of the cranium move. So form follows function. Everything in the body has a purpose.
Yeah.
So the cranial bones move. Where the sutures are. Have you ever looked at an anatomy book?
No, not on the brain.
Hi, Eddie. Hi.
They sit
Have a seat. The bones in the head move. Honey, scoot back scoot back just a tiny bit so I can see you. The cranial bones move, and when they do, it's a result of the cerebrospinal fluid. So the cerebrospinal fluid comes in, and the bones expand, and it goes out, and the bones contract. So they come closer together and then farther apart. Karen, maybe you could go get a skull. Yeah.
And what's the purpose of that? The moving back and forth.
It has to do. It's just what it does.
Is that so? When childbirth, they can
It's
squeeze
from
through
even before childbirth.
Oh, okay.
It's from the moment of conception.
Oh. Well, there's a purpose for it.
Yeah, there's a purpose for
Yeah,
it.
it wouldn't have been like that.
Yeah, and there's an eternal purpose for it, exactly. We need the top of it so we can show the cranial, the cranium. This is the bottom of the, this is called no top. But it does have some suture lines along here, which is not the best example.
So what is the suture lines? What does that mean?
I'm going to show you.
Is that if someone has surgery, you mean?
There's little lines that go.
This is the
On
only
my
other
brain-
one
on my
that's
brain?
currently in the
Oh.
office.
There is?
All right, honey.
Sorry.
Maybe you could save those questions for after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we're not going to really go there today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I would be glad to tell you.
Okay.
In general, what we do is we work with the cranium, and we work with the limbs. And the man that I worked with so closely was named Dr. John Upledger, and he was a very wonderful man. And because I had background in psychology, he wanted to work with me. And so he invited me to do somato-emotional release, which is a practice that has to do with releasing emotions in the body related to, your body is like a CD. If a CD can record all that, why can't a body? Well, it does. It records every experience you've had, either positive or negative. But the negative ones actually influence what gets stored in the body that makes the rhythm either be even or so that you go into an outward movement and an inward movement in a balanced way, or it makes it so that you go in one way or the other in an imbalanced way. So all what we're looking for when we do this work is balance in the system. So that's what we do when we do cranial work. Now what I've done is self-correcting mechanisms that I've combined the Feldenkrais method with the cranial work. And the Feldenkrais method is basically neuromuscular re-education. It has to do with how we use ourselves, and it has to do with awareness and breathing. Is there anything from last class that we did that you guys can think of that you want to share about the breathing lesson? Or anything that you know about breath in general?
I mean, I've studied breath work in my training. I studied breath work. I do it daily.
Yeah.
I don't remember us doing it last week.
Yeah, clearly.
Well,
Remember.
I remember when we were doing the movements, we were on our back.
Right.
You were just reminding us to pay attention to our breath, but not control it in any way.
Right.
Just let it be natural.
Right. So we don't control what we do, we just observe it. Sometimes in some practices what you do is you learn a certain way of breathing, but what we believe is it's all about awareness. How are you breathing? Like if you close your eyes for a moment and just imagine that you're lying in the sand at the beach and everything is perfect. It's a beautiful day. And now, just for a moment, let that go and feel the sun penetrating yourself. And then imagine that somebody comes along and they step on your face, which is actually your breathing. Don't analyze it, just experience it. All they do is step right on your face, and the sand goes in your face, and you taste the sand. And it's gritty. And notice how this creates an alteration in your breathing pattern. Provokes a little bit of anxiety, if not a lot. Correct? Yeah.
Right when you said it, I like.
Yeah, it's a shock.
I took like a deeper breath.
Exactly.
I felt like mine was like boom, boom, boom. It started to really pump the blood, like anxiety.
Exactly. So, one of those systems is the parasympathetic system and the sympathetic system. We don't need to be aware of those terms particularly, but what we need to know about is flight or fight. Now you have a chance to fight something when it happens to you, or you have a chance to flight, to run away. Now this was such a surprise, there was no time to run away, was there? No. You just had to, accept the fact that somebody was stepping on your face. So probably you got up though, and you probably turned around and scrubbed yourself off a little bit and got prepared to leave, I would imagine, or something else. What do you do? Do you talk to the person about it? Close your eyes again. And I want you to imagine how you're going to, I don't know, accept the situation, reject the situation. Not judging yourself, but just imagine that same thing. That surprise, that feeling. And notice how that affects your breathing. All right. Now, what I want you to do is to get into groups of two and discuss how that affected you. All right, so maybe we'll do a group of two this way and a group of two this way. All right? And we're going to do a lot of other stuff. So.
And so when I experienced that, I was really enjoying that moment, you know, like a sun on the beach and doing that. Of course I did that. Of course my first thing was panic and fear. Like my heart was like, oh, and I'm like, oh my God. But then I thought,
Grittiness.
I have a choice
I was
here
just laying in the sand.
to let anger, because anger could come from how dare you do this?
Actually,
They let anger come and just start
and I didn't have a reaction.
But because I would have feared that
in that process,
the repercussions of that. So I think what I would have to choose spiritually is to say,
it just
to be more like to say,
what happened.
oh my God, instead of just getting up and yelling. And then I kind of saw the person say, oh, like, you know, not like they were really like, oh, I'm sorry, but kind of like, oh, well, my dog ran by and I didn't see you in the trip, you know, whatever their excuse was, but not really like, I'm really sorry, but just kind of something. But I realized that no matter what that person said, I was gonna just say, I think I really feel the sand on the beach today. That has happened to me for real. So I was at Heartland and I was like, when I was pregnant today, I was pregnant and somebody's dog just jumped right on me.
Oh, wow.
And just licked me right, like stepped on me, went high. So I actually remember going, oh my, at that time I said,
Are you dead?
Because I had learned how to do that. I was like, oh my God, you're not. I
You
said
should
it
be
that
on
way.
your second person now.
And then the guys.
All right, let's get together
So
as a
Maddie-
group. All right.
It was interesting because right when you said it, I had like initial like deeper inhale, I guess, and then I didn't even like think about who did it or like I just was like, oh. And then when you started talking about the sand and all that, I was just kind of having that experience, and so there really wasn't. I didn't get upset. I just was kind of having the experience of what happened. There was nobody else in it. So, I don't know. Interesting.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
Who else wants to talk about it? Okay.
So with me, I was really enjoying that moment of the warm sun on my face, and I was really peaceful. And then when that happened, of course, I had fear immediately. Someone stepping on my face, I felt fear, and I could feel my heart just like boom, 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 start racing. And so so then I'm opening my eyes. I got sand all over me, and I'm like having thoughts about. I don't want to verbally attack the person because I'm afraid of the reaction I might get.
Right.
You might get more than sand in your face at that moment.
Right.
So I just thought about saying it in a more gentle way, which was like, oh my God, you scared me. What happened? And then the person kind of just answered saying something like, well, I didn't see you and I tripped. And so I had it in my head.
What was that?
Huh?
He was feeling like, or she was feeling like.
They weren't feeling really remorseful, but they had kind of an excuse.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So I already had in my head, it didn't matter if they apologized or they cursed me or whatever they said, I was going to keep my peace. But I would walk away wounded. You know what I mean?
Sure. Sure.
So I would just get up and say, well, I think I better go now, and just take my stuff, and I would leave, brushing the sand out of my eye.
I don't think I even opened my eyes when you were talking about opening your eyes. Like, I didn't even open my eyes. Like, it's kept them closed. Weird.
You didn't think about your eyes? Or you did?
Yeah, I just don't think I didn't open them. Or that's why there was nobody there. Because, it was like, I was just having, it was like,
She never
ouch.
went past that
Yeah.
experience. She just did that. That's really a good way to handle it. Not to attach a person and fault, but just dealing with the experience on your own spiritual level.
Have you had that experience before?
I have.
So have I.
No.
Not exactly step on my face, but
Similar though.
yeah.
Me too.
Did you have it really come up that close?
It was a man's dog who jumped on me and licked me right in the eye with a slobber, and I was 8 months pregnant, laying on a blanket on a park. So,
Oh, I
but
see.
I got upset, and then he cursed me. So I thought,
Oh, really?
really? Cursing a pregnant
Wow.
woman for not being upset that you dog licked me in the eye?
Yeah.
So I just thought, okay, this is a person you want to talk to. Just,
Yeah.
no more conversation at that point. But I kind of learned, don't react that way to people. People do not like psychology, you mentioned. People do not
Sure.
like to feel that shaming them.
Sorry. Yeah.
They get real, combative.
Well, you just never know what a day's going to bring you. Yeah. How about you?
I slept through it.
You what?
When you said to close your eyes, imagine you're on the beach,
Yeah.
I fell asleep. So it never happened, or I never realized that it happened.
You were asleep on the beach.
Yeah, and you're talking about, did that happen? I was in a good place. So.
I was that, when did you wake up? When the exercise was over?
Yeah, when you said to talk about it, I even started thinking like, what do we talk? Like, what happened? And
Talk about your nap.
yeah, it was
Talk about
great.
your nap on the
You
beach.
guys had a good time.
Great nap.
Yeah.
You had a nap.
Yeah.
How about you, Karen?
I initially had the intake of breath. I was startled and a little bit fearful and a little bit upset that somebody would do that. Yeah, and
Sure.
then I just kind of like everybody, you come to the conclusion that you can't really react.
Right.
You know, you don't want to cause a scene, or you don't want to upset somebody or get somebody upset with you.
Right.
So it's just
Right,
you just center yourself and move on.
right,
Wipe the sand out of your eyes and
right,
move on.
right. How about if they step on your mouth?
Ugh. Yeah.
The whole face, you know, your whole face is a face.
No, when you said the grittiness, I could feel the sand in my
Yeah.
mouth, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, so, you know, let's just talk about that for a minute. Your face, here's his face. He doesn't have the rest of his head, right? But he's got his face. This is what his face looks like. And actually, the jaw isn't part of the head. The jaw just hangs off the head. I mean, the rest of the cranium, which is an interesting thing right there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's attached, but it just hangs there. It's not part of the head. This thing. It's difficult to get off. I wish we had that other cranium. I don't know where it is. Well, anyway, this is the base of the skull, right here, like this. So it sits there like this, and that's the way it is. This mandible, the bottom of your jaw, is not attached by anything except, oh, there we go. Can you hand me that? Here we have it. It's not important what it's attached to, but just so you see that these two are not actually attached to each other. So, when we eat, what do?
You have to lower the jaw.
Yeah, we open the jaw and we eat. And some of us, you know, have a problem with getting the jaw open sometimes, particularly if we've had dental work done, or, you know. But when you yawn, you open the jaw too. So yawn a little bit. Close your eyes and do it. Like you're really tired.
That was a real yawn.
I know. Well, you're supposed to be relaxed when you get out of here. So open your jaw, Karen, and just let yourself yawn. Is that a good yawn? Is that how you yawn before you go to sleep?
It is.
Good. How about you?
Mine pops a little when I.
Does it? How about you, honey? There we go. So, again, we're not judging that one way of doing something is better than another way. We just observe it. And, you know, part of your homework, so to speak, is when you yawn, to see how you yawn after a lesson and before a lesson, see how you yawn after you eat, or, you know, just to play around with the jaw. What does it do? And I have a CD that, you know, we're working on getting copies of that's available. It's called Movable Mouth. And it's all about how to move different ways you can move the mouth. So it's quite interesting. We can talk about that later again. So that's all I really want to say about that. We have different work that we do where we work inside the mouth. We work on the surfaces of the teeth. I've done this with Ed. We actually work on the surfaces of the teeth because that's all part of the cranial system. I don't have the sacrum down here, but there's a sacrum. Was there any other pieces there? Okay, stand up for a second so you can feel this.
The sacrum is the spine. So the sacrum is the
Yeah.
spine.
Sacropelvis pelvis. It's a sacrum. So stand up.
Okay.
I know you're getting thrown right into this all.
That's right. Oh, okay.
And watch me do this. I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to demonstrate on. I'm going to demonstrate on the end. All right. So again, stand here at your side. There we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand right here. See, right there. You can feel it on yourself if you want to. Right? And you're going to place the other hand on the belly. A little bit lower, Karen. There we go. There you go. And what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can feel any movement there. You might feel a movement that goes from side to side. This goes a little bit over to the right, and then comes back to the neutral. So feel it on yourself. Make your hand soft.
Oh.
Yeah, soften your hand. More, it's like if you were touching a feather underneath a piece of paper. You'd have to be very soft with it. And then over to the other side. Separate your feet a little bit. They should be under each hip. And then see if you can feel anything. This is coming back to the neutral. Now what you're going to do is the way that it goes the most easily, you're actually going to follow it. If you don't feel it, don't worry about it. It'll come around in a second. So his goes, oh, his is now starting. I went in the direction of ease, back to the neutral, and now it's going over towards the other side. Now it comes all the way over to his left. Can you feel it? Mm-hmm. Good. Have you felt it?
No.
All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to partner you up, because you got the experience of it. You go to the same partners again. Or whatever. Just those of you that felt it, then match yourself up with somebody else. Maybe you should go with each other and you should go with each other. I don't know, choose your partners. But you know what I mean.
Why don't they saw this?
Because you're going to teach the person. What I just saw you.
Feel it?
So are we feeling the same?
Sure.
We're feeling this part?
Yeah.
We're feeling this part through our hand? Through our hand? Like
Yeah, exactly the same way that I did it. So I demonstrated what, but we'll do another demonstration.
So you want us to do it to our partner and see if they feel it or if we feel it?
Huh?
You want us to do it to our partner and see if they feel it? Or
It's interesting to notice what happens with the own when you work on the other person, but that's for later.
Yeah.
That's probably another workshop. So I want you to be careful about the way you position yourself,
Let's see if I'm right about there.
because you've already learned something about how to position yourself when you're touching somebody, or how to position yourself.
So, what are we looking for?
The movement in the sacrum.
it's
And you're using
it's
this
the
hand to kind of
fluid,
stabilize
right?
yourself, so don't be afraid to come in.
It's the
Come a little bit
spinal fluid,
closer.
right?
I feel his hand is warm.
You're passive, honey.
Her sacrum feels really centered and feels. I don't think I feel anything to either side. It feels pretty centered.
It feels very centered to me.
I can feel it.
Is it
I do. I am very aware of
This
that.
hand,
I'm very
can you
aware
feel
of
something
it.
from there?
Of that area.
No, because you're going to take your hand
I can
and go
really
further
feel
down.
that sacrum.
And you're going to make your hand softer, like
Yeah.
this.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if you had a feather underneath a piece of
Yeah.
paper,
Like
Yeah.
if it was,
Like
like if it was
yeah,
off
right.
to the right or the
Just
left,
like
if I had my back out, you know, somehow.
we have a
I'd
nickel.
and this hand is
be able
just
to really
lightly
notice it, 'cause
stabilizing. So make
it's
the hand
making me very
lighter.
aware of that area.
There we go.
Okay.
And you need to put your arms down. Let her come in. We're touching each other.
I feel like there's a slight. I feel like the left side's a little more forward than the right. There's almost a very slight twist in there.
I probably
It's very
do.
gradual.
Yeah, I probably do. When I go to the chiropractor, I always has to adjust my feet. One's longer than the other.
Ah. Yeah, it does feel a little different on the right than the left.
I think so. That's what I was thinking too.
I almost feel like there's, like the muscles around it, there's more fullness on the right than the left.
Karen,
I
I
feel
want
like
you to be
a pulse.
passive.
Yeah,
I feel like a pulsing
on the left and the right.
Yeah.
What's that?
feel like
I
a pulsing.
can't quite understand it.
Yeah.
That's called a
I
therapeutic
feel
pulse.
like
Right.
That
It's
means
almost
you dive
like the
right in
right
into
side. It
a
seems like it's
therapeutic
more
pulse.
condensed,
That's beautiful.
almost tighter.
She's got that
The
pleasant
left side
smile on
seems
her
more
face, and I love
like there's a
somebody.
lot more something going on around it. And I'm not sure if that means it's more of a problematic on the left,
Right.
or if it's the right that might be the problem. I'm not sure.
Go in the direction of ease. So where she goes more easily, go there. So accentuate that.
So to the
I'm
left.
just talking about.
You go saying,
That's a different topic.
yeah, no, what I'm saying is that he's in charge right now.
Oh.
Yeah, so you just experience it.
Okay.
Yeah. And you kind of don't say anything in terms of giving her information, just sort of observe it.
Okay.
Almost like the opposite of like when I felt the energy going this way on her stomach, it was like coming this way on her back.
Uh-huh.
And it was kind of like a little rhythmic, like pulsing like that.
Nice. That's right, it's a rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like literally like the top of your butt crack. It's like where your fingers are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Like this. That's right. Okay, now make your hand soft. Feel the hand. It's soft. It's like a baby soft. Or something really soft. That's right. Because you're going to feel something. And you want to make it soft so you can feel it.
It's interesting. The site
It's kind of hard when you
kind of like what was going on.
it's hard to be soft when you're in that position by yourself.
Yeah.
Because
Like
you know,
maybe
to get
there's
there,
Right.
some
it's easier when you're doing it on
Like
something.
this one seems like it's more together, and this one seems more like
I could feel my own.
there's more
now
mass, maybe.
Right.
when you're had your
Almost
hands
like
on me.
yeah, like if you
Yeah.
were surfing and maybe you had a little.
It's like
pressure on
somebody's
that
reflecting
area,
to
or
you.
play tennis or
You're
something.
making a
It's
reflection.
almost like they're like
So it seemed
kind
kind of
of,
like what you were feeling on my left side.
putting a little cocoon around your energy,
Yeah.
so you can feel your own
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sure.
Oh,
And structurally
Is
you
that a
can
bee in
feel
there?
it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
a little one.
I can feel it in my
You
spine.
get informed follows function.
Oh, the doggy one says,
As the
don't get it
body-
because it's stinging your nose.
It goes in a certain way based on
Yeah,
the energy that you
interesting.
have. So last week what we did was we discussed what was going on with people's feet, right?
Your feet stories.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you a story. And this is a resting point for you because we rest in between what we do. Or we should rest in between what we do. So we're not just always doing, but we're resting after we do. Because if we don't rest, then we get worn out. And we were talking about that last night. We had a friend over and we were talking about trying to get to something too quickly. And even poses in yoga, doing them too fast and not being able to hurting yourself and knowing that you're not going to be able to do it if you keep it going at that rate. So we talked about that. We had a discussion about that. Well, that's true for everything. If you don't take care of yourself, then you're going to wear yourself out. It's like you want to do everything with the least amount of effort possible, whatever that is. Even picking up an orange. You know, how big of a deal is it to pick up an orange? You don't have to grab it this way. You can just gently pick it up. And it's like that with everything that we pick up or we do. If something's too heavy for us, we don't pick it up. Otherwise, you can hurt yourself, right? So that's kind of something that'll keep you strong. And, you know, we don't need to be any stronger than we already are, because we're in the process of retaining what we have. And we know that we have something called neuroplasticity, which has to do with the brain. And what that means is that we stay younger for as long as we can, you know, until we choose that it's no longer time to be on the planet. But I have a lot of older friends that I think are going to be here forever. I surely want to be here for a long time, and I'd like for you to all be here for a long time too. And I've been doing this since 1986, and I can tell you, I've seen people that have gone through miraculous changes, just miraculous changes. So I thought I'd share a story with you. This is about somebody named Leo, and Leo came to me with a heart problem. Excuse me, can I have some water? Thank you. Leo had started feeling problems in his heart. Feeling pain in his heart, and he went to the doctor, and the doctor told him that he had a faulty heart and he needed to get an operation, and that he should stop his job, and that he shouldn't do anything anymore except for stay home, basically, and rest and take care, you know, he didn't say take care of himself, he just said don't do anything. So Leo came to me with a death sentence, basically, and his posture was like this, because he was in the protection mode of his heart. It's not important why people are the way they are. I mean, I can go into that, but that's not what we're doing right now. He was referred to me by a very close friend of mine, who in fact was his brother-in-law. And so but they didn't give me any background about him except to say that, you know, he'd been to the doctor, and the doctor said that his heart was messed up and that basically he was going to die. So they put him on a lot of pills, various things, and I worked on him the first day. So he came in like this, literally, look at my spine. All right, curve down. What was his breathing like? Those of you that have been here before.
Constricted.
Very constricted. Very constricted. And his chest was very, very, when he lay down, it was interesting because his chest would come up, but his shoulders went down, but his chest came up. So I just did, what I do is I do a diagnosis off the body first just to see where I'm drawn. But with him, because I knew he had a heart problem and had the situation going on, I just went straight for his heart. So what I did was I compressed behind and on top. You just did a feeling of the craniosacral rhythm. What I did with him was I gently compressed, so I used more pressure, but I came in very slowly and gently into the heart region and the upper back. And I did that very slowly, and then I let it go, and I let the breathing become fuller, or help him become aware that he could breathe into his chest. You know, he wasn't breathing at all. He was breathing like this. Anxiety. He was anxious about what was going to happen to him, understandably so. Mm-hmm. So I compressed in that area and found that he retained the information quite quickly. His nervous system was very intelligent, and he retained that information quite quickly and was able to get up off the table. And I did a few other things with him. But basically, he came to me, I think 3-4 times, maybe 5. And the last time he brought his family, which is another story too, because they all were quite fascinated, of course, because I had taken him from going to the doctor to being healthy again, and they had been very worried about him. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that something can happen to you and it can change your life, and then you get treated or something else happens to you and it goes away. So I think I took him off pills at some point. I didn't take him off pills. I suggested maybe you ought to think about, whether you want to take those or something. And he said, yeah. I said, you have to titrate, which means go down in the, everybody knows what titrate is. Go down in the amount slowly so that your body isn't affected too quickly. And I thought particularly with the heart, it's very important. But he decided that he was going to go off them. His lungs were very congested, which is what's making my lungs congested too. His lungs were very congested, which, the heart and the lungs are very connected with each other. And he was able to get off the lung medicine first, and then eventually the heart medicine over a period of time, and felt much better. I mean, after the first session, he walked out of here and said, I asked him, how do you feel? I had him get up and walk around, and I said, how do you feel? He said, fantastic. This is really, a wonderful thing. And I was very, very excited, needless to say, because every success case is another success. Not for me so much as for the other person. I'm more concerned about whatever happens for the other person because I want people to be healthy. Whatever it takes for people to become healthy is important, whatever the discipline is. So, anyway, that's the Leo story. And he's very healthy today. Any questions about that?
Yeah, so just by putting your hands on him and putting like pressure, that actually improved his heart?
Pardon?
It actually improved his heart by just the pressure that we're putting on
lying
him?
down. He was lying down. And I slid my hand on the top of his chest and kind of laid into it.
Is it sort of a healing thing? Like a healing?
No, it's not a healing thing. Well, not per se.
You lay hands on people and heal?
No, I compressed it. There's also these kind of muscles in here called the intercostal muscles, which are in between the ribs.
Oh.
And what happens to them, it can happen when people have a concave chest. It also can happen if you're worried about something and you walk around like this. Do you have any people you take care of that are like that?
I have a daughter who has degenerate disc disorder.
She has what? I'm sorry.
DDD, degenerative disc disorder.
And her posture is that way?
Well, I took her to a chiropractor years ago, and he said she had something with her head and her spine that was going to cause her problems.
Do you want to say a little bit louder what she has so everybody hears?
Oh, degenerate disc disorder. And so she has bulging discs and stuff. It's very painful and just constant pain. So I remember when a chiropractor had said, when I took her when she was about 16, he said there's something going on with her posture and that she was going to end up with a lot of problems if we didn't continue the treatments. Well, I never continued the treatments because I probably couldn't, afford them, or I didn't put my money in that area, or maybe I didn't believe them wholeheartedly. But as it turns out, she does have a problem with her back and her neck. But the doctor said it was caused a lot by stress.
Sure. That's a whole nother, it is. Mm-hmm. And bulging disc, when you go to the doctor, most doctors, I'm a doctor myself, but I never give a client/patient a diagnosis. I don't say, you've got, Parkinson's disease.
Right.
They may tell me they have Parkinson's disease, but I don't, personally, I don't accept that because my mentor never took those things as anything. He said he put it in the back of his mind, but he continued to work on with the person and treated what he found, which is what we do. We treat what we find. Bulging discs are extremely common. When you were pregnant with her? Yeah. So probably she took on a little bit of that. Scoliosis is passed on that way too, as well as holding a baby only on one side. We need to hold our babies on both sides.
Yeah, her dad has scoliosis.
Does he? Well, that's okay. We do one thing, maybe I cross my legs that way. Well, why not cross them another way?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. I've stood almost my whole life on my right hip.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why, but in my pictures and everything, I stand on my right hip. This ankle is not good. It cracks. I wonder if it's from putting that pressure on that, you know.
Yeah, so why do you stand on it?
I have no idea.
Well, now you brought it up to the group, so they'll keep an eye on you for that.
You have to retrain your neural pathways, right?
Yes, exactly. Because what we do is when we do something with the same side all the time, it simulates certain neural pathways. When you do it in the opposite way, it activates the opposite.
Oh.
And so other parts of the neural pathways get activated.
Oh.
Try this. Just cross your hands. Fold your hands. And now unfold them and fold them in the opposite direction. See? So it's a very interesting thing. You know, what feels different? Which one feels easier?
And we usually do it the same way. Right.
Well,
Mostly.
but the important thing is, again, to do it differently.
Yeah.
If you stand on your right hip, check out standing on your left. If you use your right foot, check out standing on your left foot. Don't be judgmental about it, but just notice, like you're in step one, you've noticed that you stand always on the right side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, your body is telling you it's a drag. You know, it's going, you know what, this is causing problems with my ankle.
Yeah.
So it's time to switch over to the other side. And, you know, we find that we have a habit of maybe crossing one leg over the other or the other one over the other for various reasons. And it's not important to know why we do it right now. Not right now, that's not important. But what we do is we notice, you know, we observe, we always observe. And once we observe it, we become aware. And awareness is everything, isn't it? Everything. It's all about awareness. And so we become aware of doing that, and then we do something different. You know? It's like somebody was telling me that Melissa was saying, you know, I don't think I want to work weddings anymore. I don't think I want to be a waitress anymore. And she goes, I'm going to do something different. So she quits the next day, you know. She's a quick learner. She's a quick studier. And she's come to many of these workshops. And she's been studying with me for quite some time. She has a certificate in self-corrective mechanism. But she knows that when you need to do something, you got to do it. You know, just got it. Now I'm using a job as an example, but it goes for everything. It goes for anything that you do. You know, when it's time to change it, you change it or you do it in a different way. Right?
Right.
Right. So, and different ways is definitely a possibility. If you don't want to change it, you do it in a different way. Maybe you don't become stressed out about it. You know, maybe you do it gently. Maybe you do it less than you can. If you go out and run a marathon, the first time you go out to run or walk,
You'll be in pain.
you're going to really be, you might end up on the ground.
That happened to me too. Somebody said, do you want to go for a bike ride? And I didn't even ride bikes. And I said, okay. So again, they had a bike, and my sister had a bike, and it was her, somebody she knew. And little did I know it was a 26 bike ride. Don't you tell people that? I've never ridden on a bike. So I'm riding, and after halfway, I'm like, I need someone to pick me up in a car. But there was nobody, and I had to do the whole thing. And I couldn't even, it felt like my knees were broken. They hurt so bad. Yeah, I overdid my knees so bad. So, yeah.
Did you hurt yourself?
Yeah, I did.
What happened, honey?
I could barely walk or even open my knees up. They were just in pain.
Yeah.
And it was just because the people didn't inform me of how far it was going to be.
Sure.
I had no idea. I thought, okay, we'll go for a bike ride. I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know?
What kind of bike was it, out of curiosity?
It was just I'm not sure if it was a 10-speed or the one that went like that.
Oh,
I don't think it was a mountain bike. I think it was a 10-speed, like a 10-speed
Uh.
bike. It was somebody else's, and I wasn't even that good of a rider. And they were leaving me behind. I don't know my way
Yeah.
around here. So it was like in Calabasas, somewhere where it's like just building up. But
Yeah.
yeah.
so I figure now, if anyone says you want to do anything, I pretty much say no. The trauma.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That was a learning experience.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Or find out a lot of information first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. We found out a lot about from our. It's all a learning experience. Life is a learning experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's one lesson after the other. Sometimes they come in quick succession. Sometimes they come spread out.
Sometimes you learn from them, and sometimes it takes you many times to learn them.
Yeah.
Well, those ones are the ones that leave an embedded impression upon us. We were having a discussion again last night. Remember what we were talking about with that?
About what? Patterns of behavior?
Pardon?
About what?
I forgot. It's not important.
Yeah.
Oh, what it was is that those things in life that are lessons that we learn over and over
Yeah,
again
right.
are ones that also bring us joy eventually. Or things, situations in life. This is an adjunct thing. This isn't the exact same thing you're talking about. It's kind of adjunct or adjacent. We'll say it's adjacent or like, which is that
We're talking about how things like pain and suffering help us to appreciate joy. How they go hand in hand and how they form who we are. So in the moment we often wish they weren't happening, we regret them, but often we look back and we're grateful for them because they help us.
Build character
They
and
help,
stuff.
yeah, and they help guide us, help us decide what we want.
I was just thinking, before you said that, I was just thinking about sharing that because there's this Gary Smalley. I don't know if you know who he is. He's passed away now, but he was teaching on relationships. So we have some tapes, and he's really funny. But he says that when you have like pain, like he says, if you want to get close, go camping. Because whenever you have trauma and stress, at the moment it seems horrible, but later the person you went through the trauma and stress with, you'll actually have a stronger bond. Like as soon as 9/11 happened, everybody, strangers were like, hi, how's it going? I mean, everybody bonded together. People you never would say hi to.
right. Well, if you don't go into the pain, you can't come out of it. If you don't go into the relationships, the stress, if you're too busy avoiding the stress of the relationship, you're not going to have a real relationship,
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Destruction paves the way for new growth.
Yeah, that's really a good point. I think that's probably the biggest point of the day on what we've learned, right? That's really valuable.
Yeah.
Because some people might say, no, I'm not going to deal with that. It's, I don't want to deal with that. But it's like, then you're never going to have that relationship like that if you just keep avoiding
Yeah.
Right.
every uncomfortable situation.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Down.
Yeah, lay down with your head down. Go ahead and leave them up. But if you've got your knees up, what you want to do is have your knees in a position where they can really support you. And there should be a space between the knees. And then you want to put your knees in the same position that you had them in when you were sitting up. Remember what you said about having them
more out.
Yeah,
Like
that's
that.
right. Kind of move them around a little bit till they feel like they can support you. They can support the knees. So the feet should be underneath the knees.
Okay.
All right, there you go. Now,
What about our hands?
you can keep your hands on your belly. And what I want you to do is to draw up your right leg and then let it come out and let it slide down again. Good. And feel the difference between the right leg and the left leg. Good. And do the same thing with the left side. And then let it come out and slide it down. One continuous movement. Now, Francesca, what I want you to do is the same thing, only you're going to imagine it first. So you're going to imagine drawing up do your left leg first. Imagine drawing up your left leg, but the way you're going to do it is so that you slide it up from the heel, the knee comes up, and the leg comes to a standing position. So the knee goes out and then up. And then imagine what that feels like. Don't actually do it yet, but just notice what that feels like to have your knee and your leg upward in that position. And then draw that knee up, that leg up, in reality. That's it, all the way up to standing. There we go. Do the same with the other side, at your own pace. This time we don't have to imagine it, just go ahead and do it. Great. And now Ed, do the same thing, the same way you did it before, not imagining it, but draw each leg up to a standing position. Okay. Now everybody's got their knees up. And everybody's going to think about frogs, because we call this froggy leg. And what froggy leg does is it protects your lower back. So if you put your legs up and down in this way, like when you're in bed or whatever, then you are keeping your back free. And you're keeping your breathing free, and you're keeping your body in a way that it's going to be relaxed for the whole night. All right? So do it with one leg first, whichever you feel like doing it with. Let it come down. If you can't do it, if it doesn't feel comfortable, then just do it in your imagination. Okay? So I want you to imagine that this comes out that way, like a frog.
Oh.
Yeah, like a frog.
And slide it down too?
Yeah, like a frog, all the way down.
Okay.
And it comes up like a frog as well. That's it, you guys have it. No cheating, somebody's looking, I saw that, Karen. Just kidding you. It feels good, doesn't it?
Mhm.
How many people like the sensation?
I do.
I do too.
I do.
I do this all the time. Keep doing it 3 or 4 times. And see if you can kind of get a rhythm to it. Bong, bong, or whatever your personal rhythm is. Notice that you're very... See if you can keep your awareness just on making this movement. Just try it. And then down again. There's no muscular effort involved at all, either at the top of the movement or at the bottom of the movement. Feel the breath. But what you're going to do is you're going to roll to your side You're going to stand up one leg or the other, roll to your side. Use your arm to push yourself up and come up to sitting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
So on up to sitting. That's good. Wow. And from sitting, we're going to come up to standing. So whatever way you can do it, because I'm not going to teach you how to come up this time. Just find some way to come up from sitting to standing. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Good. I mean, now what a chip.
We can hunch. We're not supposed to, but
What I want you to do is to take a look at each other and see if anything looks different.
Everybody looks happy, I can tell
Everybody
you.
looks
Everybody's
happy.
glowing.
Everybody's glowing.
Like everybody's orange.
Everybody's glowing, they're longer and they're balanced and everything else. So take a walk around the block, or take a walk around the house, or wherever you want to walk. Just walk a little bit. Is anybody hungry?
I brought some snacks in.
Did you bring some? Good. Let's have those.